And a fine afternoon to you all. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out with Splinterlands. This is the Splinterlands Town Hall. I am your host, Agrod, founder and CEO of Splinterlands. And we're just hanging out. We're just talking about the game. We got a release coming tomorrow, and we got some big things that we're working towards. Um, First and foremost, I know I'm pretty excited about a promo card that we're going to be introducing because it's got a brand new thing that we haven't done before in the Splinterlands, and I think that's pretty exciting. So we'll see how that one goes. Why don't we do the thing? And to start to do the thing, we should go talk about who's going to be on the show and what they're going to be talking about. So let's head over to a quick team stand up, and let's let the folks introduce themselves real quick and just tell us what they're gonna be working on or talking about. Hopefully you can see the screen, so we'll go in order: PJ, Weirdbeard, Investigator, and the one and the only Mr. Nate.
Excellent. Yeah, go ahead and start. So I'll just be reviewing a response to the incidents that we had last week and what we've done to rectify the issue. It should be pretty quick.
Sweet. Weirdbeard.
Not only talking about the promo card that's going to be coming out, but also kind of highlighting some of the other things that are on our radar for what the enhancements team is looking to develop and release.
Nice. Investigator.
Well, like every week, I'll be talking about what's going out in the update tomorrow, and maybe a little bit about some of the other stuff that we've been working on.
Cool. And then Nate.
Promo.
Nice. All right. So definitely seems like that is a hot topic du jour of the day. But let's go. We're going to start with a little quick talky talk here with Young Master PJ, and kind of go through. We had some bad things happen, but we're still here. We're still functioning. The game has not imploded. The community has not all abandoned us. Things seem to be mostly okay. Do you want to deny any of those allegations of being okay? Do you want to tell us how we're all doomed, or do you have slightly better news than that?
No, things are looking actually pretty good. Although it is unfortunate that we lost a little bit of funds. These were in accounts that actually didn't even realize that we were still using them for anything, or that there was value still stuck in them. So it is unfortunate. Things like this do happen. We did find out the root cause of the issue is something that stemmed back from a security breach in a third-party service provider, which is unfortunate. But we've also reduced a lot of our third-party services just in the last 6 months. So it is a loophole that is going to continue to close as we cordon off most of these types of providers that we have. Another thing to keep a track of is that we were able to roll back all of our keys and to rekey the entire system, which is an emergency operation that we have. But it proved to be something that we could do rather effectively and quickly. There was a little bit of downtime last week with some logins and some authentication that had to do with emails, usernames and passwords getting reset. They just couldn't log back in after trying to reset their password, but it was rectified rather quickly. So really appreciative of the team here. They did a great job. We were able to respond in a very fast, and quickly in a very short period of time. So I feel very confident about it. And it also shows that we're able to roll over our whole system really quickly with a, far minimum, I would say a very low amount of time. So feeling pretty good about it, Aggie.
Yeah, I don't know. I called it early on, and I listened to this, found out what happened, was like, that sucks, but we're fine. I mean, that whole thing to me was pretty minor. And going through and doing the full blown fire drill around changing all the keys felt a little bit overkill to me. But it's been a while since we changed them. It seemed like everything was like, all right, we had a small blip, reminded us that now's a good opportunity. There's nothing horrible brewing against us. We should take this time and an opportunity to protect ourselves, protect our financial health. And I don't know, it seemed like kind of a no brainer. Didn't cause us much harm, and we're okay.
Most definitely. In that, it was a minimum loss of assets. It really wasn't too impactful on the market. It didn't really affect the market at all. So I feel like going forward, we've reconciled just about all of the extraneous accounts that we have. We're also doing a lot of mapping and looking at where these accounts have come from and originated from, because that allows us to see where they value started from. So there's a lot that we can do to be proactive in this case too, and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Sweet. So I know that took up a lot of time last week. Is there anything else? We don't get you on here too often. So just like high level, what are like the big things that you're working on? Why do we have a CTO? What does a CDO do? And like, what are you pushing? Like what's your main objective?
Definitely. So in the organization itself, we had a lot of costs building up because the company grew really fast. So one of the large initiatives here has really just been an optimization across the board, right? So we look at all of our hosting services that we have, how much it costs to run our servers, the contracts that go behind maintaining those systems, as well as trying to think forward, like where do we want to be security-wise? How do we want our infrastructure to work? How do we want to be able to have a clean deployment environment? What kind of standards are we going to use? What kind of languages do we have to use? And this changes all the time. And even with advancements happening, not just in the gaming industry, but in blockchain as well, you have to be very aware of what's happening as far as privacy rights across the board. You have to be very aware of risk. Actually, risk mapping is a large portion of what we do and what I have to do. So it's complicated. I mean, there's a lot of different things that you have to kind of be a specialist at to know how to navigate around. But the things that we have to look forward to now is probably a lot more stable release environments, making sure that when we go to our deployments, as everybody probably is familiar with, we do our deployments every Tuesday here, and it starts pretty early in the morning for me because I'm here on the West Coast, but it's in the afternoon for most of our East Coast participants. So regardless, we try to plan out as much as we can, but we have a lot of things that happen here because we're constantly pushing out new products. So it is in my best interest to make sure that we're able to effectively test and release these things in a timely manner, and then make sure that at some point, marketing efforts and everything that comes into a launch are able to be met. So it is rather technical. That's why it's called a chief technology officer position. But you wear a lot of hats too. So I love it. I love doing this stuff. I love working with our team. We have an amazing team. I hope to see our team continue to grow here in the future and watch the community thrive. And then I know that we have a lot of third parties that we work with too. So if it was really a motive, I would love to see more third party participants join the ecosystem as well.
Yeah. That's definitely like one of the key objectives for the next phase. It's always been a dream, let other businesses form businesses within our business. And that to me is really the measure of our success. The more groups that can build stuff in here, it just means that we built something awesome.
Yeah, we're just going to layer that on top of it with third-party services, right? Like that makes the ecosystem and the codependency amongst all the groups working together just that much stronger.
All right. Well, PJ, I don't want to keep you. Thanks for just kind of giving us a quick update. It sounds like we're not doomed. It sounds like we're pretty okay. It sounds like we might even be more secure than we were before the incident started. And I don't know. Life seems a-okay.
All right, man. Appreciate it, Aggie.
Rock on. Thanks.
Take care, everybody.
So let's go Investigator on here. I know we got a release we're working on for tomorrow. I know that Gator's got some other stuff that he's working on. And maybe you just want to tell us, what's going on with whatever order you want to kind of share what you're working on. We're happy to take it. What's on your brain, sir?
Okay. I guess we'll start with the updates tomorrow. And I apologize if I start coughing or sneezing because my allergies are killing me. But so tomorrow we've got a number of big items going out. The first one is we're going to be adding staked SPS delegation finally.
Whoa. I might have misheard you. I got this thing with my ear. What did you just say? Because that seems kind of like a big deal. Try me one more time.
Yeah, we're going to be adding a feature to allow players to delegate out their staked SPS.
Wow, that's a big deal. Okay. Are we using it for anything yet? Or is it just we're just testing the ability to start with?
The main thing it's going to work with is meeting tournament requirements. So you can delegate out to people so they can have enough SPS to enter tournaments. The thing that it's not going to count for is proposal voting. So all voting will just count your staked SPS and ignore all delegations.
Yep,
So
that sounds
you
right.
can't delegate your votes out to other players. And that's pretty much the initial uses for it. I know that we're planning to eventually
Revamp this entire freaking system for it. Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, you guys want rewards? That's interesting. You should probably be staking something. Just saying. But
yeah,
Aggie, I've been selling it for the last 2 years. Why would I stake it now? Yeah, you'll learn. You'll learn.
and another feature that people have been asking for is we're going to allow guilds to spend, or guild members to spend DECB to upgrade guild buildings.
Nice.
So if you save some of that after land, you'll be able to spend it. On the topic of land, we're going to roll out locking your deeds. Much like cards, you'll be able to set a fixed number of days that you'll have to unlock, wait that many days before you can trade a land deed or sell it. So much like same functionality we have for cards. If you want to protect your cards, you can lock them to your account, and we're going to allow players to also do that with land. The last thing that's a big thing for tomorrow is the promo card store page will be added with a countdown. I'll let Nate and Weirdbeard talk about the actual card, but that should be coming up in the store tomorrow. For some smaller updates,
Just to clarify, the countdown page is coming tomorrow. The promo sale is not happening
next
tomorrow.
week. Yeah.
All right. So you guys have a week for the promo sale before that gets live, but we are giving you a countdown and a heads up for when it kicks off.
A couple small things. PayPal changed their code that is used by third parties like ourselves. So we have updated the PayPal checkout to use their new package. You may see some changes on the UI. We are doing some minor cleanup of the logout code for some browsers and some users. When trying to log out, you would get stuck with a spinner. It should address that. A little bit of cleanup on the notifications for opening packs on tech modernization. So your pack is ready to view. The notification has been cleaned up to look a little bit more like the rest of our notifications. And we did some other code cleanup around payment methods while we were in there doing the PayPal stuff. And Rooney profile pictures will now work on the mobile apps.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
a little something for mobile.
Okay, I mean that's a laundry list. Like just getting SPS delegation out is going to like change this game pretty significantly over time. So I don't know, having that as our first touch point, as our launch pad, as our boots on the ground for how SPS kind of like wheedles its way into this game. I don't know, pretty awesome. That's a big one.
Yeah, and it'll open up a lot of opportunities for players to delegate out their SPS to other players that they want to help out, or possibly rent it out to other players. We haven't added any functionality for that yet, but not saying we won't in the future.
Yeah. All right, so that's one of your things, but that wasn't the only thing, right? Like there's a couple community cleanup projects, or just cleanup projects that we're working on. Do you want to share any details about those? We'll probably need a post at some point because it seems like this will have some impact. But what you got, or what do you want to share about this?
Yeah, so besides reading off release notes, I also work on the ops team. And one of the projects we are taking on is basically an audit of all the Splinterlands accounts and bridges and everything following last weekend, to try to make sure that we know where everything is, everything's secure. So our first real big project is we are going through the wax bridge and trying to audit everything and make sure that things work out. And we've pretty quickly found that there is a lot of discrepancies back from when it was first rolled out in 2021. There used to be some issues like you could send stuff to Wax without linking a Wax wallet, and it would just take your card and sit there with it. We fixed that, but if you didn't contact support to get that fixed, we didn't know about it. So we are doing an extensive audit, have found a number of cards that should be returned back to players in the next couple weeks. I know that Dave McCoy in particular is going to be getting a lot of cards back. He tried to withdraw and never went through.
Yeah, a bunch of them are like alphas, right? Like he's got a collection of alphas.
He's got some gold foil alphas that he just didn't notice he never got.
Yeah, that's amazing.
The number of transactions he did back and forth on the Wax Bridge were quite a lot. So, yeah, a few people are going to be pretty happy with some gold foil cards that they didn't know they lost in 2021 coming back to their account.
It's kind of like finding a $20 bill in your pocket. Like, you feel like a champ. I mean, it's really just your own money, but if it's money you didn't know you had, it's new money in a lot of ways.
Yeah, so it's probably going to take us a couple of weeks to get through everything because it's a lot of data, and we're trying to hit the higher value items first, the alpha, beta, gold foil. Eventually, we'll get to sending people back there, Pelacor, Conjurers, but most of it's older stuff. So,
all right. Yeah, that's a big project. Thanks for working on that. I'm sure the players will be pretty happy. We gotta do this a little bit more rapidly or more frequently, I guess, rather than like, I don't know, an annual audit or something. It seems like something that we should be poking around with. But
yeah, and it's the company as a whole has a lot of technical debt from before we had as many people, and just how much stuff we wanted to do and haven't got to, and trying to clean up our bridges and do basically audits on stuff is something that we are just getting to now.
Yep, that's fair. Anything else that we want to talk about? Is that the laundry list for today?
That's probably pretty good, unless you want me to talk about anything for next week. But
no, we got the promos rolling out. That's the big one. And I know people are dying to hear about the card and the stats and whatever else we're going to share. So why don't we're going to hop over to Splinterlands TV, and then we'll invite Weirdbeard on to go kind of give us Brawlhalla. But Investigator, thanks for kind of giving us a heads up, walking us through what's happening, returning funds and returning assets to the players that didn't even know that they lost them. And I don't know, pretty exciting days to hear about all these updates to the game tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll be back next week with next update for the next update.
Perfect. All right. Well, I believe we have a handsome gentleman, the one, the only Splinterlands clown, Rondon. How are things?
Things are going great, Ag. Couldn't be better. Splinterlands TV still pumping out 24/7 content to all the Splinterlands fans, giving away tons of ruse, tons of them this month. I mean, it's like we're well through the 2,000 that I chunked into the account to give away.
Whoa.
Yeah. So some people who didn't really get in on the ruse train, who've just been watching Splinterlands TV and participating, have been able to get a pretty decent level ruse just from watching. Now this is going to
perfect.
We still got one more week of it, and then we're not doing the ruse promo next month. Next month is going to be pretty cool. We're going to do Monster Mayhem.
Monster Mayhem. What's Monster Mayhem, Ron?
Well, it's May, right?
So, like mayhem. I get it. I get it. Like May, as in the month of May.
I figured,
which is part of the word mayhem. I get it now. Thank you, Ron. But what is, other than a delicious pun, what is Monster Mayhem?
Monster Mayhem is going to be probably our biggest giveaways yet. We're going to be doing, I haven't figured out all the details yet because we need to make sure, we got to keep things sustainable. But we are going to do it big. We are going to do it awesome. And I promise you that even after all the other stuff we've done, if you haven't tuned in yet, you're going to want to tune in for May.
I believe that.
Now, I got someone asking in chat, what is Splinterlands TV? Now, I thought this was common knowledge, but I guess I shouldn't assume. Maybe I should start off by explaining that every once in a while.
Yeah. Please do. Give us the elevator pitch.
Yeah, so Splinterlands TV is the broadcast division of Splinterlands. We have over 50 individual streamers from all around the world sharing their passion for Splinterlands on Twitch. And they stream pretty much 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's every single kind of take you can get on Splinterlands, all sorts of news, tips and tricks, giveaways, crazy moments. I mean, it's like, it's all these personalities wrapped up into one channel, sharing their passion. Explain Web3 in one line, please. I'll explain it in one word: decentralization.
Okay. It looks like I got some shout outs to do. It seems like Pero82, Deju, Solving Chaos, Yummy T Kadasai, Delta 103010, Boom Burst, Maiko Bogimer, Ghostly BG, DJ Rock, and then Yummy T Kudasai once again.
I'm a little disappointed.
What did you want me to do?
You didn't pronounce the ooh.
I didn't pronounce the ooh. You told me not to pronounce the ooh. It's just a face, Ron. It's not something that you have to say.
It is, but ever since you pronounced it, now you got to do it.
I don't got to do anything wrong. You're not the boss me. Not the boss me. I get to write my own destiny, Ron. Okay.
We got a clip of the week. We got a clip of the week.
Yeah. What are the people? What are the young kids talking about these days, Ron?
Well, this one, believe it or not, Chaos Legion sold out. You can't buy anymore, but people are still opening them. They still happen. And this one right here, this was pretty cool. Our streamer Crypto Llama TV, he ended up getting some really cool stuff with his packs he opened. So we're going to go into that. We actually got 2 clips. We got a bonus clip after. So let's get into this.
I'll say all of these chests were free. These were just my my season end chests. Oh, there's a legendary. There's 2 legendaries. Let's go. Epic. Legendary. What? There's 3 legendaries so far. 4. Oh my God, there's 4 legendaries in these 4 packs. Every single pack. What the hell? Oh my God.
Yeah. Opening 4 packs and getting 4 legendaries. Pretty fun times, right?
Yeah.
Now,
the gods of RNG did shine down on that young man.
Would you like to see what was in those?
Yeah. I would very much like to see what was in those.
All right, let's check it out.
Oh, gold foil Chaos Dragon. Let's go. What? Gold foil legendary. Oh my days. What is going on? Oh my God. I can't believe this. I just got a $66 card, high bid $66 card, season rewards. Guys.
So pretty good pull,
nice.
I would say.
Yeah. I mean, if you're picking up packs for free and then you're getting $100 of cards out of them, like that's nice. That's handy.
He got a legendary summoner in there too. That wasn't even part of that. I don't know if you notice that in the background there.
Yeah, didn't he get Posilibus?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's a nice little haul that he brought into his mix. That was great.
Yeah, so guys, check it out. Splinterlands TV, lots of craziness happening, lots of great moments. If you find a great moment on Splinterlands TV, you can clip it, post it in the Splinterlands TV Discord, and then even win prizes just for making a clip. Like crap. I should have probably had this person written, but whoever submitted this one, which I'll figure it out as soon as this is over, and send them 500 SPS. So yeah.
Yeah, glad to support. We want a big honking community, and we know we got to go support these guys. So doing the clips, doing the streams, hanging out on the streams. There's lots of incentive to go spread the word about Splinterlands, and tell your friends, tell their friends, call your mom, tell her, everybody know. Splinterlands is a sweet game, and people should be getting into this.
All right.
I think that's what we got for now, Ron. Can I hop over to Weirdbeard?
Let's hop on over to Weirdbeard.
All right, that sounds great. Ron, thanks for all the work that you do on Splinterlands TV. And let's go bring the beard with the weird onto the stage and see what young master Weirdbeard has to say. How are you, sir?
Hello, hola, ¿cómo estás? Are you drinking a beer right now?
No. It's always tea. I don't know what it is, but like it's I guess I know that I'm gonna have to sit here for a couple hours, so I don't really get food. And then because the food and I'm over my 40s, it just makes me tired. So now what I have to do is I have to prep for the food because it's going to be a long time, and then I have to prep for the exhaustion. So I drink caffeinated beverages, and that's how I'm able to go maintain myself for 2 full hours here.
I mean, I was just going to say that I that's like taking a medication to get rid of the side effects of another medication of another medication. So
yeah, but it's just food and it's just tea. So like this is just my 40s. Welcome to this experience.
Embrace it.
If you guys haven't found it yet, you will soon. Doesn't matter how new age you get, old age is going to kick your ass. All right, so Weirdbeard, you're working on a lot of stuff these days. We put you in the Brawlhalla corner, and nobody puts baby in the Brawlhalla corner, but we put you there for a little bit, and you were doing that, and you were doing the tournaments, and we all sort of said, "Wow, this is going pretty well. Why don't we put as much stuff of the Splinterlands universe onto your plate as humanly possible?" And you're like, "Yeah, that's great. High five." And so now you have all these projects and all these things. There's a lot to talk about. What is like burning a hole in your to-do list? Like, what is the highest and best action, or what is the most pressing thing, or what weird way did I force you to go pay attention to something? Like, what's on your brain?
Well, I can tell you, like, tournaments and brawls are still front of my brain, but the large issue that was an issue before I moved into doing other stuff as well is that we have so much outstanding stuff. Like, we just have a whole menagerie and list of items that we have to clear up before I'm going to be able to do the tournaments and the brawls and all the other things that need to be done. Right?
Are you just describing a backlog, or are you describing something specific?
Both. We have a ton of outstanding bugs and issues and things that have just been like on the list for months that nobody has ever gone, "Oh, well, we really need to make time to do this." Like, a lot of the issues are, if a bug is bigger than a 5-second fix, internally as a team, we always go, "Oh, all right, we'll get around to it." And then, like, when do we get around to it? And not only that, but we are also committed to getting Land 1.5 out. We're doing this promo release. We have a few other things that are on the back end, like the coming release of Tower Defense. We also are having to have some of our devs spend time between Splinterlands and GLX. So there's like a lot of irons in the fire. And to be able to get to a place where we're going to be able to do a lot of the core game mechanic upgrades that I'd like to be doing, it is going to take clearing the deck and making sure that we're ready to go so that we can fully focus on like actually delivering them, right? Because when you touch the base product of Splinterlands, the gameplay, you can't do it while also trying to juggle all the other things at the same time. Like that needs to be your laser focus. That's what you're doing, right? You can't be half in and half out. So really getting through June, like we talked about last week, is going to be the biggest, like, the biggest hurdle that we have to overcome to be able to be ready.
Yeah. So walk me through. What's burning a hole in your list right now? And then coming up after that, like what are the big things that you, I guess they almost sound like blockers to like the next round of innovation that we got to do.
Yes. I mean, right now, like I said, like getting land 1.5 is priority number one. Um, and that's because we're already pretty like we're up to our necks in land. We got 1.0 out, which is great. But 1.5 is where card staking, gameplay, actually being able to suck up DEC, and a lot of the other things that come along with that. Um, that's like a really large one. Validators are also going to be released in June. That's another large project that we've made pretty significant headway on, and until we release it, we can't like get rid of it. So we got to get all. We're nearing to the point where it's like it's stupid to stop doing it. Um, we also have a few other things that are in there. Like I said, tower defense, a mini set, looking at just really 1.5 eats up so much stuff. Also replacing CP with SPS is on that backlog, right? So those are
Which
all
we
things.
couldn't do until delegation arrives. And
Yes.
fortunately for us, it arrives. Let me check my notes tomorrow. So that's in the soon category. We can start
Yes.
messing around with that.
Because like a lot of the things that we are on the hook for are high level ideas, right? They're big projects, but we can't just do the thing. You have to do all the things underneath it, which is what's really taken all the time to kind of chew through. But once June is done and we're able to kind of rest a little bit of control over the situation, there's so much that I'm really waiting to sink my teeth into that I think players are going to be super excited for. Because again, like the entire time I've been with this company, the things I champion are people, product, and process, right? Working by, we already had great people that work at this company. I don't have to do anything about that. Process over the past month and a half, however long I've been doing this new role or whatever it is, has been refining the process to make it so that, hey, we're all one team. We're all working on the same kind of project at a time so that we don't have devs off on their own little islands doing their project that when it's done, they bring it to the front of the class and give it to everybody, right? Like we need to have everybody light hands make or many hands make light work. But then on top of it, the product is what I'm excited to really go to the mat for. I'm talking, players have been dying to use this awesome IP in many different ways, and being able to give them that opportunity is great. I think Nate is going to the day that I go, hey Nate, we're doing UI UX overhaul of the entire website, doing it from the ground up and making it look amazing. And we get to take our time with it. We're not rushed. He's going to cry tears of joy. And so that's where I want to get is I want to make Nate cry tears of joy. Like Splinterlands 2.0 is we've had enough planning and enough situations where we've talked about it that we're getting to the place where it's almost ready to like break ground and start working on that project.
Cool. So let's reel this discussion in from the high level. Here are the things that we have to worry about. Let's take it now to the focus of like, I guess we're entering sprint 4 of 5 on Wednesday, just 2 days from now. So we have about a month left of this sprint, or not of this sprint, but of this like crucible of fire here. And then we're going to be into the next crucible of fire, a new age, as it were. And we have, we know we have some big things coming in June. Like what are your priorities that are like the main thing of focus right now that we're actively prioritizing, trying to ship and get done? And what are the things that the player should be expecting or considering?
Land 1.5, top number one priority. Asset staking, plot clearing, resource production, market and bridging, and the rental market that comes along with that. Second is tech modernization, which is the most unsexy term ever. But if we're gonna get to Splinterlands 2.0, everything's got to go to VNext. It has to. So we're on breakneck pace to get markets overhauled and collection screens fixed and bugs that come along with that. The guild updates that we've been digging into. You've seen a smattering of like tournament and guild updates that have sort of been hammered out over the past 2-3 weeks or so from Cryptomancer. Those are all precursor tasks to doing some of the new buildings and some fixing some of the like ownership issues that we have with guilds right now. And then also this amazing promo card sale, which has been on the burner for a little bit here, but we're ready to really get it out there and have people be excited about this this card.
Yeah. So on one of those points, I'm hoping to go meet with Matt again next week, and I think that's gonna, especially when we're working on new things, the two of us are really like the I don't know, two of the main creators of these things, or at least where ideas originate and where details come from, so that we can hand these things off to the team and the team can make the whole thing come alive. So there's a variety of things that we're going to try to nail down, and the next big one should be next week, and then hopefully, if he and I are on the same page on all these things, then it should make it pretty good to get new products, new details, and new things out the door. And some of those new products are like new guild buildings, so it's not like every new product has to be some like brand new pack edition or something, but at least at a high level, the new features that we want to add, they typically, I'm a big part of getting the first kind of original gameplay and game style and function, or core game loop. I do a lot of that, and Matt comes in and was like, well, this all needs a lot of detail, Aggie, and Matt goes through and does that, and then the whole team really chimes in. Once we can give them a starting point of this is what we're envisioning, the whole team comes in and says, well, it would look better if it does this, it would sound better if it did that. To develop it, here are all the steps that we have to go through. So it's definitely 100% team effort, but usually starts with Matt and I agreeing on something, and hopefully that should be as soon as next week.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about things like boss monsters, tournament league locks, being able to, we've taught what it's almost 8 months ago since we talked about Battles 2.0 at Splinterfest. Like, there's a lot of dangling chads that we still have out there in the world. And I see a comment literally right now in Discord where it's like coming soon, the catchphrase of play to earn, but also us. And I'm ready to dead coming soon. Like we've talked about a lot of this stuff long enough, and in the future, if it's not being worked on, we're not going to talk about it. So I'm talking about this stuff because I am going to make sure that we get a lot of these things delivered. They have to become reality.
Yep. Okay. So Land 1.5. We're getting towards the end of the sprints here. Are you? We have some original sort of high level plan for June. How do you feel about that? Are you like, yeah, this is in the bag? Or are you like, we're cutting it close? Is it we're never going to make it and we need to start, pivoting our language now? Like, where are we? How are we doing for Land 1.5?
I mean, we're definitely there. Like a lot of it has been worked on by creative. The largest things that they're dealing with are region and plot views because those are just intricate. As Nate would say, there's always more child screens. There's more of like when you click on a thing and it's going to bring up another screen that's a child screen. And so you start with, oh yeah, we just do a region view. JK, there's actually like 20 smaller doodads that you don't think about until you're under the hood. And we're fine. We don't have to talk about pivoting timetable. The larger thing that we have to worry about is cramming too much into one time. 10 pounds of bull poop into a 5-pound box. It doesn't work very well. So we need to make sure that, again, I'm just going to relist it. Validators, Land 1.5, tower defense, GLX. And then we also have some other non-confirmed, confirmed things that we can't talk about. That's a lot in 1 month. And it's also scary because it's not just getting something out, it's making sure that it works and it doesn't go out broken. Yep. So having to know all of that. Am I nervous? Yes, but that's because I'm a perfectionist and I don't want anything to break or anything to not be amazing. So
What about some of these guild buildings? I know that Matt's been talking about those. Are those all still theoretical in Matt's head, or is like Matt's are starting to crank these things out? Like where do the new guild buildings and new guild operations fit?
I mean, they are not material reality yet. Because again, we had originally started with guild alliances and then went, you know what, we guilds and tournaments are the two sections of the website that need the most ground up love. And so when we talked about guild alliances and it's this whole big project, it'd be strapping a spoiler to the back of like a 1977 Dodge, right? It just doesn't make sense. It needs to, you need a new car first. So instead of going all out on guild alliances, we're doing a smaller scope down version with some of these buildings. So we had a ton of guild buildings for guild alliances. We're in the process of cutting it down, finding out what's feasible. What can we get out between now and June with these guild updates? Um, and then starting to take a look at actually like doing the hard work of redoing guilds from the ground up and not just patching over the holes with duct tape.
Cool. Anything else you want to add that should we chatting about here? Are we doing promo card here? Are we saving that for Mr. Nate?
Oh, Nate, of course, he gets to talk about the story behind it. He gets to show artwork. It'd be lame if I'm just like, oh yeah, this is the name of the card. Like it means nothing coming from me. People don't want to listen to me more. They want eye candy.
All right. Why don't we go do a little eye candy segment? Weird Beard, thanks for taking on so much of the product leadership and helping to get this stuff cranked out and trying to listen to the players and build all this stuff. And the 3 Ps that you're working on are perfect. And I don't know. Thanks for being here. Thanks for kicking ass.
Yeah, we're gonna make it. Let's go.
Let's go.
Woo!
All all right, let's go over to Nate. And I hear there's a promo card, Nate. I don't know
did.
if you're aware of that, but I hear that there is one that we should be concerned with.
No, not only. I don't think concern is the right word. I think the word you're looking for is FOMO the heck out. Just like I think people are going to be excited and love the concept. I think that the seeds were planted by the community in terms of the high level concept of like, well, are people going to want this or like this? And then Agrat, I would say that internally you were probably the biggest champion to kind of like make this a reality, make this happen. But what's cool is how many people were actually involved. People think, oh yeah, just a new card. Well, I mean, there was the concept of it all, the community, you saying, hey guys, let's make this happen. Weird Beard facilitating through project management. You got we took a great artist off of a secret project that we have going on and say, stop, let's put you on this. So Paolo did a great job at that. Monty, the art lead, helping to make that happen. Hopefully we get into the animation, the lore. So Joey and Cal Jericho did an awesome job of coming up with some lore for this character. And just along the way, every step of the way, Bob is over there. Call Me Tim is trying to test things out, making sure that the mechanics of it will work properly. You got Biz and Matt trying to figure out stats and abilities. Along with him, you got the whole support team and Biz and Royal Ego and Lily Fire and the rest of the team, all trying to make sure that this makes sense and people are going to want it. And then you got the economics of it all. I mean, people don't realize, oh yeah, just make a new promo card, but there's a lot involved. And Aggie, you are responsible for just bringing to bear the full power of the company to make this next card a reality. So
I did possibly add some pressure around this one. I don't want to claim I did or didn't, but somebody might have felt that way. No, but there's like a brand new mechanic with this. I think we're going into the weeds on this one. Like what's different about this promo card that we haven't seen in any other promo card?
Well, Weird Beard alluded to it. I think it was last town hall when he said swirl. So I'm thinking that maybe I'll share some of the concept art, and then I think people will easily start putting the pieces together.
Yeah, not
So
only the concept art, I think it's full blown that we can just go share the stats and go 100% out with this.
oh, okay. Well, here, I'll be quick then. So that way, just to give some contrast, when we were told about the swirl concept, then this was one of the first passes we made in terms of concept art. And as you can tell, she does look a little angelic, but not too goody two shoes. So for those of you who are thinking life and death, and you're probably right. Once we got into colors, here's some more concept art. We were trying to decide, okay, if we were going to take the first dual element card in the company's history, then what kind of character would that be? And so we did decide to start off with life and death. We did decide to look at those themes and that narrative and start sculpting what that character would be like, because we wanted to make sure that the first time we bring this to the world, this concept of dual element, more than one element of magic, that we did it with a bang. So where we ended up, and here, let me see. And I'll give you a little bit of the background. I love how the narrative team took a lot of the world building that we're doing behind the scenes. Lore.splinterlands.com. Little by little, it's going to get beefed up. There's a lot of articles that are not public viewed yet. We're going through the editing, making sure it looks good. But once it actually gets released to the public, all aspects of lore.splinterlands.com, you're going to realize that it's not just a Splinterlands world. There's alternate planes of existence. There's pantheons of deities. There's all this depth and layers with which to tell engaging stories. And so there is a celestial plane of existence whereby this particular character, Ziriel, has kind of like pursued a little bit of forbidden power. As a result, there's been a fall from grace. She is wandering the Splinterlands, and this is how where we ended up with her. She looks like this. So there is your first viewing of Ziriel, the Fallen, part of the celestial race of beings known as, if I remember correctly, I believe we're going to call them the Alani, but I reserve the right to change that because Joey might have said the wrong word, and I want to make sure Joey has the flexibility to change what this race is known as. But essentially, it's a very angelic race. And she has fallen, and you can tell from her wings that they have kind of like been scorched through her divine fall from grace. And however, those who have the power to see these other I don't know, spiritual realm, let's say, will notice that we give the hint of these geometric, very otherworldly, supernatural wings behind her, kind of like as an overlay. So I thought that was a cool idea. I love the concept. You could tell from what she's holding, what her attack ability will most likely be.
Yeah, that looks like a bow. Is that like a dragon-esque bow or something? How would you describe that?
Yes, it is a bow, and talk about attack arranged. It's pretty up there. I would say it is one of the highest range attack characters in the game. And if for those of you who are listening for the little finer details, yes, ranged attack, meaning nope, some of you thought that this might have been a summoner, but no, this is actually going to be a unit card, playable for both life teams and death teams.
Okay, Nate, I think it might be time to do it. I think we have to show some stats.
All right, so here we go. Just to give you an idea, because usually these promo cards
it's never that simple with you, Nate. There's like it's from like shoot, it's not the booklet. What was the notebook where he's like, "What do you want?" And she's like, "It's not that simple." And he's like, "What do you want?" She's like, "It's not that simple." Like I feel like if I say something like "show the stats," you're like, "It's not that simple."
Yeah.
I have to explain all of it. I love it. because
All right.
people can see the smile on my face, and I
Yeah.
just, to me, it's just, I know how teased the players are, and it's joyous to me. So don't you go do you, Nate. You don't have to.
Okay.
I'm not telling you to go put them in there. You do you. You explain the thing, and I'm going to sit here as happy as possible, just sort of like knowing that the players are fuming. They're like chomping at the bit to go get these stats, and you just won't release them.
All right. Tell you what, I'm going to fast forward through what I was going to say, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. But essentially, here is for your gazing eye candy pleasure the max level version of Zerial, the first dual element card in Splinterlands history. There you go. And
Boom.
yeah,
Bum,
boom.
bum,
Some of you
bum.
might get a delayed reaction like, okay, what am I looking at here? I think that for those OG veterans in the game, they're probably going to more immediately recognize the almost OP nature of this card. Because, I mean, you want to start at the beginning, but before you start at the beginning with that weapons training ability, you got to go to the back. Go to the back, that last ability. First of all, she takes away the armor.
Yeah, that's
Okay, leaves
rust.
them vulnerable to attack. Okay, now go to the second ability. Wait, what is this? Life leech? So
Yeah, it
she
looks like a
takes away
life
the
leech.
armor. Then she takes out a 5 attack bow and just peppers the enemy with this ginormous attack. And what happens? She life leeches. That's ridiculous. And to make sure that she survives long enough to suck up all the enemy's health, she has that divine protection there, and that's kind of like from the life side of things. So you could tell that there's a little bit of I think Byzantine and Call Me Tim and the support staff and Matt did a great job in trying to like make sure like, okay, how do we go ahead and tell the story of life and death, but be a little nuanced about it, a little subtle about it. So I think the abilities they chose did that. And then the big whopper, the big grand finale is that weapons training ability. Given the enormous size of her ranged attack, I think you guys can imagine what that's going to do for the non-attack adjacent units right next to her. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it seems like they would get some powerful ranged attacks as a result of that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's I think she's going to be a game changer. I think that, you know, if you and what's funny is the support staff, I think we were on a meeting recently with Lilyfire, and she was going over these different variations of different stats and abilities that they were trying out on the test server to say what worked and what doesn't. And the takeaway that I took was that this was a beautiful card, that it was going to be fun, that it was going to change the game in unique ways above and beyond just the fact that it's dual element. Like you could say, well, you know, dual element's cool, it's fun, but the novelty is going to wear off because I already have neutral cards and this, that, and the other. Well, I don't think you're giving the card enough credit. With this combination of stats and abilities, I think is going to be pretty awesome. So,
yeah. And what happens if one of the cards has like double strike? Does that mean that they'll get double strike with that big fat ranged attack?
Well, geez, how would they get double attack though? Let me think.
If they have double strike.
If they already have double strike?
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume so, but I think weapons training applies to no attack cards. So the chance of a no attack card having that ability, I'm not sure, but given well, okay, you bring up an interesting point.
Byzantine is right. Are you guys right?
We are constantly adding new combat rules. So yes, you might hardly ever see that, but at the rate at which we keep introducing new combat rules, and I don't recall every combat rule in the game, I'm guessing that there's going to be some unforeseen big whopper strategies that are happening with this card. If not right now, then in the near future.
Yeah. So one of the first thing that struck me about this was actually not the card art. That's not the one that like, that's what I normally expect. But the thing that I was immediately drawn to was those two beautiful yellow orbs right in the middle with the life and the death legendary. You know, that's just awesome. I really like the way that you guys put that together so that we can see that, it's both just depicting how it's both life and death and legendary, and sort of like it's almost like this thing is a double legendary or something. It's pretty awesome.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, seeing those two legendary rarity gems side by side, it does give you that feeling like, wow, this is like almost twice the legendary that I'm getting in one card. So I would agree with that.
Okay. I guess we could probably share, because we're posting this later, so we can go spoil ourselves because we're gonna post this. Do you want to talk about the price of this card and what we're doing? It's gonna be $500 each per level 1 BCX, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
No.
Actually, no. It's so the cards actually are going to be we are taking some of what we did with Ruse and saying, you know what, for the second time in a row, we are going to introduce a promo card not at max level. You will be able to get these at 1 BCX, and for those of you who are watching this, are like,
Hold
what
on,
the heck?
that's the first time we've done that as a company for like the company promos, right? Like Waka was a max level card, Lux was a max level card. I think this is going to be the first like level 1 card that the company has sold for on behalf of the company itself.
No, for sure. So selling these at level 1, it really opens the door for all our players, regardless of whether you're playing in Bronze League or Champions League or everywhere in between. It gives everyone the opportunity to get what they need at the price range that they feel the most comfortable with. And
Pockets is right. Salty Bear came in at the we did the 1 BCX for Salty Bear. So that was the first one that we did at
there we
1
go.
BCX.
So this is the third time we're trying it. So yeah.
Okay. So let's so how are we selling this? What's the price point? What do you need? How do you get it?
So the good news is Matt has his finger on the red button, and what I mean by that, he might even be doing it right now. Now that we shared the eye candy, he might be just like, I'm just pushing it now. So either right now or immediately following the town hall, there is the blog post with all the details. Sorry, I think investigator got me too. So I would say that all the finer details will be in that blog post, but at a high level, yes, it's going to be, I believe it is $80,000 DEC.
Yeah, $80.
And you could get up to 50% discount using your vouchers. So get out your DEC, get out your vouchers. The countdown page goes out tomorrow, and then a week after that, whoa, you better be ready. I hope you guys have enough DEC and vouchers to get as many as you want to get.
Now there's one more part of this. I really like this about the Ruse promo. So I definitely want to, I'm glad that we're continuing this. I don't always know how things will go, but I thought this went great. So if you buy and open 25 at the same time, one of them is guaranteed to be a gold foil legendary. So there you go. I mean, like if you buy 25 of these things, you'll start cranking out gold foil legendaries. And, just like Ruse, the guaranteed is pretty amazing that you're fairly likely to get, not just the one gold foil, but I picked up when I was doing Ruse and I was opening tons of these things. I picked up quite a lot of like more than one gold foil per 25 pack opening. And, that was fun with Ruse. But that'll be absolutely freaking jaw breaking amazing when the result is a gold foil legendary. And I think that's pretty amazing.
I totally agree. I think all of it, the new structure in which we are introducing promo cards, whether you're talking about level 1s instead of max level, whether you're talking about voucher, discounts and everything in between, I think that this is probably, at least for the time being, the new way of doing things for Splinterlands. And I think that you know, I think a lot of that is based upon player feedback. It's based upon the community telling us what they want and what they like and what they don't like, and us kind of like adapting to that and making sure that, you know, we get what we need as a company, but the players also get what they want. And as long as we make them happy, chances are the success of the company will follow, you know, organically.
Yep. And then there's a print rate with these, right? Like there's not infinite. I think there's a print and a time component. Do you remember what those are off the top of your head?
Yeah, let's see. I know that once it goes live, then you have 30 days or until all of them are gone. And all of them means I believe there's 15,000. So what is that? 15,000. If you took 15,000 and divided by what, 11 to get a max, that means you could have as many as like around 1,400 total amount in the world that, you know, are max level, which given the number of players and the number of accounts, that's not that many. So I would encourage, you know, everyone to grab them while you can.
Yeah, this is definitely not a this is definitely like a push and shove moment, you know. And then people are asking about the vouchers. So one of the things, you know, we typically have to price the vouchers. So do you remember what we priced the vouchers at?
25 cents.
Yep.
Yeah, 25 cents. So so that means that you need 40,000 DEC or 40,000 credits, and then you need 160 vouchers per card. And then you probably want to multiply that by 25 because you're going to want 25 of these to guarantee that at least one of them is going to be a gold foil legendary when you open it, which, you know, sounds pretty freaking awesome to me.
Absolutely. And then to celebrate the whole thing, I'll finish this off with a wallpaper. Whether you have a YouTube channel and you want to share that to the world, or whether you want to just put it on your computer screen and just admire it from afar, here is a wallpaper featuring Zerial, and you'll see a little bit more of her tomorrow when it launches on the shop.
And that, just so you guys know, that's if everybody chooses to use the vouchers this way, that's 2.4 million that are going to get burned. And you know, it's been a little bit since I looked at like what is a total voucher supply. I should probably go do that. So I know that there's Splinter stats, but I'm old school, so I like to use the Kyoka's his little GitHub repo. And for the total vouchers in circulation, it's around 11 million. So 2.4, you know, it's like I don't know, 20%, somewhere in the 20 to 25% of all vouchers are going to get taken out of circulation because of this one card. So I don't know. Hopefully you guys dig it. Hopefully you find some value in this. Hopefully you like this sweet card, the freaking weapons training with a 5 ranged. What a combo. And you know, one of the things that I like, you know, Matt and Biz and the others and Call Me Tim that really like put thought into designing this card, you know, that stat combo and this card could be totally broken if it was in some of the other splinters. But the fact that it's in this particular splinter or this splinter combo where, you know, range doesn't play quite as heavily and there's not as many strategies around range. It makes it so that this ability is fairly overpowered, but I'm hoping that this is not like a game breaking thing. And that was part of designing around the sort of life death elements.
No, for sure. That was a constant reoccurring topic in conversations with the design team. Particularly if you talk to Biz, he's has a very analytical perspective, and so always looking at ways to make sure that everything is balanced. The mechanics are just right. Not just looking at current combat rules, but what combat rules are possibly being introduced in the near future, as well as all the sets and the modern and the wild and all of it. It's too much math for me. But luckily, we have people in the company who like doing that and are really good at it. So it worked out.
Okay, rock on. So I think that covers all the things that we needed to talk about for Zerial. Are there other? I know that there's like a ton of things that are happening. Do you want to just kind of tell us some of the main things that Creative is working on right now?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we got as Weird pointed out, we got 1.5 for land. That is going to be an ongoing thing. So no matter what week we're in, or no matter what town hall we're having, or no matter what's going on in the world or in the game or the community, rest assured that land in general is just never going to stop. It's just this thing that will always be with us, and even when we think we're done, we're not done, because it's just part of the ecosystem. It's that baked in at that point, and it's only going to get more baked in to the point to where it's just a seamless part of play, whether you're an actual landowner or not. Someday it'll just be part of this Splinterlands experience. And hopefully there is plenty to do as a non-landowner, or plenty to do to appreciate, as you know, just one extra thing to do during the day is going into the Splinterlands universe, the ecosystem, and saying, well, do I want to play ranked play? Do I want to play a brawl? Do I want to play a tournament? Do I want to be a business owner in my productivity with that version of land? Do I want to do all these other, hopefully someday we'll have plenty of other gameplays and game modes to keep people occupied. And it's just, yeah, I'm really excited for when the day comes where there's just literally not enough time in the day. Just like we keep saying, there's not enough cards, you're not going to get enough SPS, you're not going to get enough vouchers, you're not going to get enough of plots of land, you're not going to get enough of everything. Aggro makes sure that is an intentional part of the mechanics. That's what is intended, is to make sure that there is scarcity, to make sure that there's always a reason why you want any aspect of this ecosystem, because there is utility. I think that's probably our strongest, one of the vital secret sauce ingredients for us as a company is probably the fact that we focus so much on utility. Sometimes we don't always get it just right. Sometimes we kind of put the cart in front of the horse sometimes when it comes to that, but it remains a focus all the time for everything we do. Utility, utility, utility. If we can give utility to the currencies in the game, if we give utility to the assets in the game, if we give utility to everything that we do, then yes, we're basically making the players more successful. We're raising the value of all the assets, all the currencies, and then the company's success will soon follow. So that holds true for whether it's this promo card or everything else we do. And I think that's pretty cool.
Well, rock on. I guess do we have plans for other kind of dual Splinter cards? Do you feel like this is the one and only? Do you think that there might be others of these kinds of things that are introduced in future rounds?
I think it'll be dependent on two things. Number one, what is the players' reactions to this dipping our toe in the water? How do they feel about it? How the way it plays? How in demand does this card become? But also, I think that everyone is kind of like in the back of their head thinking, well, what about summoners, Nate? What about summoners, aggro? Like, are we going to go that route? Are we going down that path? And it's like, that's where I don't envy Call Me Tim's position, because he is the guy in the background testing and testing and testing and seeing if doing this or doing that will break the game, break the mechanics, break any vital part of our ecosystem. We want to make sure that that everything remains healthy and economically balanced. So, but he is doing that. He is actively seeing whether or not we could apply the same mechanic to summoners, and what will that mean? What will that do? And if you guys have feedback or comments on any of that, then by all means, throw it in Discord chat today, tomorrow, the next week. We're always keeping an eye on it, and we'll feed your ideas like we always do to devs like Call Me Tim and everybody else.
All right. Rock on, Nate. Thanks so much. Thanks for kind of keeping us in the loop on these cards, for keeping us on our toes for land, and for just kind of like pushing us down. I know that we're putting a lot of pressure and stress on creative, and it's awesome that you guys are constantly able to deliver. So thanks so much.
Yep.
Okay, I think that's it for the core part of the town hall. I'm going to go answer some questions. I imagine that there might be some folks here. There's not that many questions. In fact, you're staring at all of them here on the screen. So we'll see how quickly we can get through all this. And then we'll just get up to like regular, we actually have a good chunk of time for the people. All right. So when is pack opening for tower defense? When David Fox, the CEO of Double Coconut, was here, he said that it's likely not going to be until right around when the game is launched. Current thinking is that the game launch is going to be at the beginning of June. That's not a promise. That is a target. So I would imagine either end of May, beginning of June is when the tower defense pack should be openable. Weirdbeard, do you have anything that is different than that?
It may be middle of June, since the beginning of June is GLX most likely, but as always, to be determined.
Any specific reason why the game is down a bunch of times lately? It just happens randomly, even several times during the day. There were several fleas and brawls in tournaments because of it.
If you're experiencing that, the best way to ask is to file a support ticket, because they're going to be able to get information about specifically what's happening. Unfortunately, we can't really comment about what you are seeing, because even if it is not a site-wide outage, if you are having trouble connecting to the website, it will display that the website is in maintenance mode. So sometimes it may not even be on our end. It could be on your end. But since we don't know your specific case, please reach out to the support team, and they'll be more than happy to be able to take care of it.
Yeah, just a note, the game hasn't been down a bunch of times lately. It's probably a local connection issue.
Suggestions, feedback. Why can't the team do more to preserve the value of all their card sets, in particular Beta and Untamed? The card values of these cards have tanked, and I feel ashamed to have put tens of thousands of dollars in collecting them. So it's a tricky one, because we don't typically talk about pricing of cards or pricing of anything. We'll share what the price is, but future predictions, describing value, all that stuff, it's generally outside the scope of what we as a company should talk about. You probably want to go consider some macroeconomic cycle stuff in here, like Jerome Powell adding as much to the interest rate as fast as, like, I think any Fed share has done. That might have some things to do with like macroeconomic functions. But then in terms of like, what do we do to make sure that there's utility for the older cards? Like, that's really one of the highest and best values of what we're doing with Land 1.5. You want a place to put your alphas and your betas and your Untamed. Land is a perfect place for them. And not just a handful, but literally 3/4 of all the cards in circulation just in 1.5. We haven't even gotten to the whole game yet, but just in 1.5, in the very first opening shot, 3/4 of all cards that have ever been printed in this game, if they're combined to max level, can go into Land. I mean, I guess I would say, why don't you try being a little bit patient until June, when this thing goes live, and then let's go see what it looks like after that.
One of the other things that I would also add, and again, I'm an idiot, so like what I say is with a grain of salt, but one of the other large bears that we've sort of had in the room is if you're in the tournament scene at all, talking about alpha tournaments, right? And it feels sort of sometimes like we're like, when I'm doing tournaments, it's really hard to navigate when the question is just, how can you preserve the value of these specific things, right? Like, of just beta, of just alpha, of just Untamed. It's not a we need to make changes just to prop up the value of beta and Untamed specifically. It's, what are we doing to the ecosystem as a whole of the game, right? Like, those macro changes to overall game are healthier than sort of doing a pivot per set and trying to adjust for each one. So I think that keeping the value of cards is important, but it also should not be a blocker to like, hey, don't do anything else until we fix the value of beta and Untamed. I think, like you said, 1.5 is a systematic change which should benefit all card sets and not just specific ones.
Yeah.
And there's a couple things too. It's like to me it's two things. First, there's the fun part. So again, like Aggie's right. You take the financial part, put it on a shelf, and let's look at everything else. And I'm like, okay, well, if it's a financial complaint, then it's like, okay, never mind. But to me, like, I don't know if I could live without my Lord of Darkness, without my Skeletal Assassin, or without my Crustacean King, or all these characters that I've come to depend on in the wild format. Like, to me, they have just as much utility and use for gameplay, though, which is kind of the point of the owning the cards, is so you can play with them, right? Now, yes, there will be the staking opportunities with land and otherwise, but I'm really looking forward to the day where, someday, if we ever do have new game modes or gameplay or whatever, who knows what unique and interesting ways that these older cards will come back, and maybe you'll take them off your land. Maybe you have them work in the fields and you say, oh crap, this thing would be great in this other game mode. Get off of there. I'll put someone else over there. And then suddenly, these older cards that maybe you're bored with. I'm not. I play with these all the time. But if you're bored with playing with alpha and beta cards, then hopefully, that opportunity will present itself. That's not impossible. I think it's probable that in the future that these game modes offer that kind of, fun gameplay experience for older cards.
All right. Do you think recharge needs a buff? If yes, wouldn't it be a great change for recharged attacks not to miss? That would also add a few more true strike options and balance the meta defining speed builds, kitty in general, and make recharge monsters more usable. Most are not strong enough to be used in battle at all. I don't have particular feelings about recharge, but honestly, I feel like after it's released, it's really not something that, like, Splinterlands in particular, we should be buffing or nerfing cards. I like, once the card is released and out there, that's something that the DAO should be voting on. If you guys feel like recharge as an ability is not powerful enough relative to the cards that it's on, and either the mana cost should go down, go up, the ability reworked or whatever, put those things in as a DAO vote, because I don't personally feel like I should be doing much to change things after the thing has been released. I know that is contentious around here, so not without a guild vote, or not without a DAO vote. Sorry. Could you please allow players to choose their comfortable time for a daily focus reset and let them change it twice a year? It's very annoying to skip a day sometimes just because the focus was reset too late on a previous day.
We are already looking at making a universal time reset so that it would reset for everybody in a specific time zone at the same time every single day, so that you wouldn't have to have it slowly shifting. That's one of the things that's on the list for future.
If a physical Splinterfest isn't feasible this year, how about a virtual one? Digital entry paid solely in vouchers. Yeah, I mean, I'm working on a digital experience. I think Weirdbeard and I still need to come to some terms about it. But I definitely want a virtual place where we can gather and provide a variety of activities for people, not just a one-time thing. So it's in the works. We have to make sure that all the people are happy about this, but that's a thing. When can we expect a game mode where we can play indefinitely to try new lineups outside of ranked and tournaments? Practice mode is dead. No champ level competition in there.
I would first say that I would be careful about agreeing to anything that's unlimited play mode. I'm a fan of a free to play, but it's we are in a different market in like Web3 crypto games for what we're able to do with the proliferation of bots and assisted outside stuff, and it comes to rewards. However, new game modes is a thing that I'm deathly passionate about and have been internally discussing. Can I give you a time frame? No. Can I say that it will be before the end of the year? Maybe. I don't know. I don't want you to yell at me. But we have ideas on what we're doing for new game modes. It's not like we're just sitting on our hands and not thinking about it. We have a few that are pretty well planned out, and we're waiting for the right time to be able to go in there and start it.
Which is basically after June, right?
Yes.
Like we got
That's it.
so much stuff that we're doing that really comes to a head in June, and we have opportunities after June to start poking around with what else we might want to do. Okay. I think that's the end of questions. Reality, can you post in the chat that it's time for questions to open up, and then let's go through with or maybe I'll do that real quick. I don't see her typing. Oh, there she goes. Awesome. So here we go. Question: when always on in-game notifications? Any thoughts on that?
Yes. I think the confusion is because Matt said it was an easy ad. Side note, it's not. But we do have Cryptomancer's currently in the work on it right now. He not only is doing another little guild project, but the notification system for people that don't care. The notification system for guilds and brawls is different than the notification system that we use for a lot of the other in-game notifications that you're getting. So being able to roll over and just put a little icon is not easy because we have multiple pages across between Steam Monsters and VNext, which is like what our tech monetization thing is doing. So to make it happy so that Jimmy is not here yelling at us every week, is we're trying to bridge it and do it in two different I don't want to say like in those two different systems at the same time, which is harder work, but it's being worked on right now. So as soon as they can give it to you, if I was able to go in there and do it myself, I'd do it, but it's happening.
Okay, Osku. So there were a couple of people in this chat that have been flaming a little bit about the price of the new promo card. So $80 as a top line tag, but after the DEC discount and the number of vouchers you actually use, it actually comes down to something like $56. And it still seems like that's too expensive for the community. Personally, I think it's a pretty sweet deal, in part because if you're buying 25 of them, you can get a gold foil version of it. And those cards tend to be quite pricey. So you can't just sell it at exactly what the legendaries are trading for. Second off, it's a promo card. So promo cards get bonuses that the regular cards don't. Third, it's going to be more limited in circulation than some of the other cards. And the scarcity impact oftentimes has a value. And lastly, if we're wrong about the value of this card to players in general, there's not going to be that many of them. Like the players won't buy all 15,000 of them. So it's something like if only 1,000 get bought, because not everybody thinks that it's worth $56 per card. Or if they buy the $25 card to get the gold foil legendaries guaranteed, there might not be people that buy that many. And if that's the case, the people that did buy them are going to have an extremely scarce card in this game. So I kind of think one way or the other, the people that are holding these, either because of the gold foil legendaries or because of potential scarcity of this card, because it's already scarce relative to other Chaos Legion cards, and then also because if people don't buy them in the next 37 days or so, there just won't be a lot of them around. Weirdbeard, I don't know if you want to chime in or anybody else wants to chime in on the pricing of this. Do you also feel it's outrageous, or do you feel like what gives you some thoughts that this is not outrageous pricing?
I think the reasons are pretty sound. I mean, I'll look at all our previous promos. Not to say that it's not. We can't ignore the fact that the market's different now than maybe all our other promos. But we've had so many promos in the company's history where sometimes the market was good and sometimes the market was bad, and they sold out. And that was at way more money for a max level, and you didn't have the option to discount it with vouchers. You didn't have the option to just buy a level 1 versus a max level, even though you may not need a max level. And I don't know. I think you're right. I think the reasons are sound. Like you said, if the community completely just we're not going to pay that much. We only sell 1,000 of them instead of 15,000 of them. Then what is that? That means the max number of cards you could have maxed in the game would be like 90.
900, yeah.
Like only 90 cards in existence. Then it would warrant you know, yeah, it would be. I don't know. I think all your points are pretty valid.
Weirdbeard, any thoughts?
I mean, I've said before, I'm not an economics guy, right? Like, I'm not an economy guy. I don't understand pricing very well. I just know that one of my goals is to try to facilitate as many opportunities as possible for players of all kinds to be able to get into the game and get interested, get addicted, which is not a great thing to say, but like we need to make sure that we have or products at price points for everybody, from the big whales to the small guppies. And if people feel like we missed the mark with this, I wouldn't say that I totally agree with it, but what I will say is that we need to make sure that we're consistently always looking at not just whales and not just, big spenders when we do talk about releases and products, excluding or not including just cards, right? Because that includes game modes, that includes other products, skins, cosmetics, all the things around there. We want to be, as a player famously says, a dinner and a date game, in the sense that sometimes some players just want to spend the amount of money that they would normally spend on a dinner and a date, or like a nice Saturday night activity, right? So I think always keeping that in the back of our minds of who we're talking to is important as well.
Yeah, I guess I kind of have one more point that's like floating around on here, which is something like, we could sell all of these at 25 cents, right? And I could get an instant sellout of all of these legendaries that are this promo card, and we could do it instantaneously at some lower price. But I think that sends the wrong signal to the people that are currently holding legendary cards, that we would be happy to dilute them out of their position by just adding new cards and putting them out there, at whatever price point we wanted to get whatever amount of money we wanted. And that's not really sustainable. We try to look at what are some of these other promo cards going for, and then making sure that we are not diluting their value. So hopefully you guys are appreciating, maybe if you're not holding any of these cards, you're like, I just want a lower price. And if you are holding those cards, hopefully you're looking at this and saying, well, Aggie and the team could have gone and undercut my cards, but they didn't. And they want to make sure that, the things that we're adding to this game are not at the expense of the players. So, I think it's a fair question. Hopefully we've answered your question. Might not be the answer that you like, but hopefully there are lots of players that are in this ecosystem holding other legendary cards that are actually very happy about our decision. How will Dispel now work for Life Leech after this promo card is coming? I actually don't know the answer to this. Anybody know?
So there's no plans that I know of, unless Matt has them, to change rule sets based on this card. What a lot of people are talking about is because we made gladiators playable as a rule set, we made some changes that slightly nerfed Bloodlust by making it dispellable. But adding one card with Life Leech, we're not going to change how Life Leech works.
There you go. All right. Eco's asking, how is it going with WASDR? Are there any metrics? So Liam is the person that would be best able to answer that. He's not on the call. So sorry, Eco, I'm going to punt.
He will be next week.
He'll be back next week. So if you're around, or if you want to post that question again into the town hall, or maybe Reality Verse Model can pick that up and put it on the list of questions for next week. Question about Grain DEC liquidity pool. The land white paper says that all resources will have liquidity pools. Will these be a new type of in-game pool? I know that Hive Engine and Tribal Decks in particular will be hosting these. I'm not sure how that'll work in game just yet. I don't know. Does anybody here, are we going the full route of LPs here? I think this is a Matt question.
It's a Matt question.
Yeah, I don't think it's any of that's been finalized, other than that we do want some sort of liquidity pool mechanics. But I'm guessing they would exist within the land UI in a way to where it felt like, not quite the same as the current liquidity pool page we have on the SPS dashboard. But I don't know. I guess we'll see.
We typically, Splinterlands ourselves typically don't like operating anything that looks like cryptocurrency exchanges. right? So like having LPs on the site sounds like a legal risk operating in the United States that I probably don't want. So we'll have to look at and see how this stuff goes. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. We'll have to get there. I don't think that a certain decision has been made. So the um just a little bit of notice, like, not everything has to be done by the DAO, but it is my general preference that things are sort of brought to the DAO. If something is urgent, we might not do it, but generally speaking, it's better to go bring things to the DAO, even if we don't think it's required. Required would be something like changes to DEC, to SBS, to vouchers, to licenses. Those things, I don't even know if the DAO owns DEC, but generally the kind of like fungible currencies that are out there and the license node, those are pretty much the realm of the DAO. Gameplay less so. We really have whatever flexibility we want for gameplay, but I know that players are hesitant to accept any change. So unless the players kind of do it, I wouldn't, or vote on it, I wouldn't want to see that much change. Torin is asking, can we get a martyr icon above the buff cards the way that the other buffs are displayed? That sounds
Yes.
like yeah. All right. So Weird Beard will get it on the backlog and we'll see where that goes. Extreme Player 63. Can we have the current skins in the game be added to the Splinterlands in-game store for selling? I know a few players that collect them and miss some of the older ones. Do we have
I can tell you, we are literally talking skins into skins and stuff that's sporting in triage. Nate had made some pretty decent points about what skins are even sellable. Are all of them sellable? Are some sellable? Like, what do we do? We have some planning with that, but it's skins, avatars, cosmetics, things like that are needing to be looked at because not everything in this game has to be able to be sold. I understand the fact that a lot of people love value from it and they love being able to do, hey, I got this thing I don't use. What do I do with it? Sometimes like soulbound skins and stuff are important and we don't know exactly what that totally encompasses. So can I say that eventually there will be some skins that are able to be sold on a market? Yes. Will I say all skins are able to be sold on a market? No, I will not say that because I don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah, we got. It sounds like that's kind of kicked out to Q3, Q4. We'll see if we get to it, but skins and a whole schema for skins are sort of hopefully later this year. Elephantium's asking, is there a place I can find a playlist from the Dark Country section? There were some good songs I could not find the next day because I closed the YouTube tabs I opened. Also, when next Dark Country? So he's referencing how every now and then I'll DJ a late night show in here. We'll play a type of music that's kind of like a little bit of country, a little bit of Western, a little bit of what we call dark country because it's normally about the hard times and tough circumstances. I like doing those on the days that we have the super late town halls because I'm caffeinated and I can't go to bed anyways. But it's kind of random when those happen. And if you need to go find songs, I just ask Rondon because he's the master of all the dark country music. Do you all plan to do something for land guilds or investment-based guilds with different perks as opposed to having only gameplay guilds as it is now? Because I notice there's a divide in some guilds due to the split of intentions with Splinterlands. Some are here for the gameplay brawls, tournaments, and others are here strictly for investment purposes. IMO, it would be nice to see something like this simply because there is a clear divide. And in order to do both, there's a significant startup cost involved with either.
I can tell you that the larger issue is a process issue in that it's hard to find different guilds based on what you're looking for, right? We've previously talked in the past about how like a player, oh, hey, we're trying to recruit players, or a player is looking to join guilds, right? There's nowhere for them to just kind of go and look and understand and know more about guilds. Like it's kind of a convoluted system. It's a little bit hard to get into. So we definitely have lots of changes for guilds. And I think that when we do this from the ground up style rebuild of the guilds area, that's something that we'll keep in mind, and make it very, very easy for people to be able to collect and connect with other guild mates that have sort of the same like mindset that they do.
Yeah, we're kind of like mid guild stuff now. So I think you guys are going to see a bunch of new things coming for guilds. I don't have a full timeline and I don't have a full scope. The next major crucible of fire where we do deep planning on all these things is about a month. And I would hope that by an end of a month from now, I can tell you all the things that are going into guilds and when we expect them to be in there. So hang on a bit. It's coming. Guilds is currently under the microscope right now. Oscar's asking another question here. Any suggestion what competitive people should do with their cards after the played 24 matches a day and exploited all possible brawl and tournament matches? 24 free games is too few.
Yes.
Go for it. What are you going to say?
I'm going to say, give me until June. I can't do anything else, people. There's not my hands handcuffed right here. I can't do land 1.5 and new game modes. I got to do land 1.5 so you people stop screaming at me. And then you can scream at me of win game mode. And I'll go, thank the Lord, baby Jesus. We're here to give you every game mode. Well, not every game mode, but some game modes that are going to make you very happy. I want to have the ability. There are very, very, very few games that exist in this world where ranked is the main form of competition, right? There should be ways for players to be able to interact and play in our game whenever they want, however they want. However, we are adults here. We have to eat our vegetables and do land 1.5 because it has been on the books and it will not falter and slip on my watch. But once that's out, then I will be in there arguing every day for us to make arena runs and draft mode and tag team 2v2s and every other game mode that I've been complaining about for a year plus come to reality. But we got to get our other stuff done first. I promise you.
Yeah, I think everyone in the company wants more game modes, so it's right.
Yep. And the other thing I'd say is you can buy some more games. Like if 24 is too few, you can go spend Dark Energy crystals and earn rewards and get additional games. So that's an option, and you're getting more. All right. Question: are all the quarterly promo cards going to be around this price point? Seems a bit much, especially as they are quarterly rather than yearly. No, I mean we did the Salty Bear, and that was inexpensive. We did Vruz on behalf of the DAO. It's like you got to think of it sort of like Frey composition. Some of them are going to be Alpha Gold Foil Legendary. Some of them are going to be the sort of like just the bronze level modern format only. They're going to run a range, and we try not to do just any one thing over and over again. So the promo cards are going to tend to be kind of cooler and more awesome than all the other ones, but they're also limited so that they don't happen all the time. I'm leaning towards the next one going to fund some kind of Splinterfest. I don't know what that might look like. We're gonna have to see how the market shapes up, but maybe we can go get some money out of the community to go host some kind of event. It might not be as big as filling up the whole arena, but I do think that we want to get back together in person. So my brain is somewhere in there, but we'll see. I know that's a lot to ask right now. Question: when new skins and skins available in marketplace shop third-party markets, well, like we're saying, skins and cosmetics is somewhere in the Q3, Q4 timeframe, but I don't really know because we haven't done that Crucible of Fire. So we can tell you what makes it into the next 10-week sprint plan about a month from today. Will there be a big YouTube content creator support similar to Twitch SPL TV? Not sure if I can share YouTube animations. So I think our focus is going to stay Twitch as opposed to YouTube. But there, Milden is being a little salty about Waka.
So I think that last question was more about like, can they, as a YouTube creator, can they share their YouTube creations in the video streams content channel here on this Discord.
Oh, I don't have any problem with doing that. I don't think that's a problem, but that's a better question for the moderators because that would involve links and some things. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if it's Splinterlands related content, it's fine to share it.
Yeah, that would be my take too. Question: will Splinterlands make their own bots for players so they can invest the revenue into the game economy, or instead of third-party exploit people will focus more on deck management and ownership will be the main aspect of the game? I mean, it's been 5 years and we haven't launched a bot. I don't think that we have plans to launch the bot, but
I
I
mean,
don't know.
my uneducated opinion is that these calls come from a feeling of what else are we to do when the real solution is what do we do to make it so that A, bots are not as prevalent, B, bots are not as indistinguishable from real human players, and what are bots doing that we need to be able to stop to limit the impact of bots on human players. I think like it's not about dumping more bots into the ecosystem. It's about making sure we actually do our homework and what can we do on the back end to make it so that bots are not such a nuisance to human players that they would feel that they need one themselves.
Well, I think I brought this up in what was it, Mav's chat the other day. It was basically, I think that when we finally get to introducing new game modes, a lot of the bot controversy will just kind of like go away. Not completely, but because basically, if the company were to introduce a bot into the game, what you're essentially asking for is give us an idle game, which is totally viable. Like we might come up with a game mode that acts like an idle game, and people will be happy with that. And it's an alternative game mode. And essentially, you just come back and check on it now and then and reap your rewards or whatever. And people like idle games. I play an idle game, sure. Throw that in the Splinterlands ecosystem. So I don't know. I think that, yeah, as long as ranked play is the 90% of what people do when they come on the website, then yes, we'll talk about bots. But hopefully, I mean, some of you, after hearing Weirdbeard and Aggroed and everyone else on the town hall talk about how much we want extra game modes too, hopefully you guys see this light at the end of the tunnel that says, okay, someday we won't be arguing about bots as much. And it's not because we change the terms of service or anything like that. It's more because, well, there's just more types of gameplay. And some of these gameplay will appeal to people who are botting, and other types of gameplay will appeal more to human players. And you just go to the part of the ecosystem that you enjoy yourself the most.
I think bots are going to be part of this ecosystem forever. So, we might limit them in certain areas like tournaments if that's what the DAO decides. But if we have other game modes, it's very possible that we'll get bots in other game modes. That's part of crypto. You guys you're gonna experience that. So either the DAO figures out a methodology that they're comfortable with to ban certain accounts or ban certain players, or you're gonna live with bots, and it's up to us as an entire community to figure out ways to disincentivize botting and incentivize playing for real without doing something like trying to declare it banned.
Also, though, we have to acknowledge we have a little bit of a responsibility to make sure that bots do not have explicit advantages over human players, right?
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
it's not, oh, just live with bots for forever, but it's not always ban all bots. We're never going to talk about bots again. Like as everything else in the real world, it's an area of gray, and it's a thing that we have to work with.
Hey, Weirdbeard, is the always on in-game notifications that you mentioned earlier simply for letting players know when action is needed in brawls and tournaments, or is it something much larger you were describing?
Little column A, little column B.
Okay. Let's see. How does the dual color work on land? Is it planned to default to the higher land bonus based on Splinter? Yes. Other questions. I see a bunch of talking and people are arguing around pricing. That's certainly there. No, that's not a question. I'm just scrolling down. You guys seem to have stopped asking questions and are now just arguing with each other. Question, Nate, not sure if you guys brought it up, just got here. Any word on the Chaos Legion war chant?
Oh, I'm gonna punt that to Joey. I think Joey's around here somewhere. So I know he added it to our project management board, that specific task. So I haven't looked to see the progress on it yet.
Still scrolling down. Do, do, do. Let's see questions. I'm all the way down to 543 and I still don't see more questions. You guys are all just chit-chatting. Question, how non-attack cards act to weapons training on both sides?
My understanding is that yes, if you put a no attack on one side and another no attack on the other side, they'll both be affected. In fact, on top of that, I mean, someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that you could put multiple weapons trainers on the same team and start stacking some stuff on those no attack cards, which sounds crazy to me, but that might be a viable strategy.
Ron, you think it's a different question?
Yeah, he answered it at the end though.
Oh, okay.
It's a weapon trainer on both sides of a no attack. It's supposed to get buffed by both of them.
Since there's land above gold, could we see a higher tier monster level? I mean, I don't want to say no because all things are possible, but I don't think Matt or I have any plans to introduce ownable mythic monsters. I don't think that's a thing, but you know, time can do things. Question, Aggie, any news on the Warner Music deal? I'm waiting on there's sort of like an entire process around that. And I think it really comes down to can we prove out that we can take any browser based or web based Unity game and deploy it? If we can, that's going to make the cost of that substantially lower and the speed substantially higher. So we're trying to get the first ones of these things live. And if that works, it'll impact what that deal shapes up to be, which we're still sort of like haggling over, even though it's been forever. Question, when can we expect the long-awaited boss monsters? It's not this PI plan or this it's not going to be in this age. There might be parts of that start getting built out in the next age. You know, maybe it's by the end of the year. I don't know. Weirdbeard, do you think that we can do any of the boss monster stuff by the end of the year?
Listen, Aggie, there's lots of things we could do by the end of the year. It's about how much and how quick and how well are we going to be able to do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's too tough to know. Will they be included in planning? Weirdbeard, are you including boss monsters somewhere in your plan? Like,
Yes.
is it in the backlog or anything like that?
Yes, it's in Splinterlands 2.0, but you know, TBD.
Okay. How is the Mayweather case going? We filed our response to the lawsuit, and we haven't heard anything other than that yet. So we're just in a holding pattern. Question, any update on Spawn? I haven't heard from those guys in a while. Holy crap, my whole screen just flashed and it moved me to a different spot.
Well, I'll tell there's CryptoZard, who by the way is a Splinterlands TV streamer and quite salty in our chat all day today. Has been consistently making as if we're ignoring talking about battle helpers when we're talking about bots in game, because that's part of the whole deal, right? Like this is a larger conversation than just what is a bot, you know, battle helpers. That's where, you know, it doesn't pick the cards for you, but it says, hello, pick these 4 cards and you will win. Battle helpers are on the same plane as a bot, but it's hard to navigate the intricacies of what's allowed and what's not. It's not a magic switch that we just get to decide. Ah, yes, no bots, but yes to battle helpers, or no and no. How do you attack that? How do you do that? Right? I really do not like going down this conversation because people continually make it into a very simple, well, duh, forehead, just fix it type of a solution when it's not. It's not as simple as like, oh, do you know about battle helpers? Yes, I am in these chats every single day talking to people who have concerns about bots and battle helpers. How do we solve it? It's a much more complicated answer than what's being seen as like just do it. And it's very frustrating to have the same conversation over and over when just on what Friday, I think I sat in on a bot conversation with people who have solutions about how we can possibly tackle it. I'm spending plenty of time on the info side because I'm an idiot and don't know technology. So I need to be taught and walk through how we're going to be able to make these changes and implements. Do I have a solution for you? No. But please, the one thing I ask anybody who interacts with this team is to not treat us like we're stupid and that we don't know what's happening within the game. Okay. We're very well aware that things are happening, but until somebody has like an ironclad situation, we can't do much about it because we have to figure out what the solution is. I'm sorry that you're frustrated. I'm sorry that this is a painful conversation, but treating anybody, the four of us or anybody else that works in the background of Splinterlands, like we're idiots who don't know better and what we're doing as if this isn't what we do every single day. I would ask you to have a little bit of empathy for this team that's making sure that we want to put out a great product, whether you agree with us or not. That's all.
Sentinel Wolf is asking, does weapons training also include double attack type monsters? If a monsters with weapons training had both ranged and magic damage, would it give other monsters with no attack both ranged and magic damage? I believe it would, and we have to be careful about what we slap weapons training on top of. Question, when can we expect real UX improvements outside just looks and sound, not in land? Well, that's like the Battles 2.0. And it's the question of what are we going to prioritize, what comes first. So is that going to make it in Q3 Q4? I can't tell you right now. If it doesn't make it in Q3 Q4, could that make it in 24? Probably. But we gotta see where that is. All right, questions. Does the team know about the battle helper? As it seems you don't mention it while talking about bots and tournaments. I think Weirdbeard just answered that pretty well. Don't hurt me, please. Can we please ban all humans? That way, no more bot arguments. Yes, you are all banned as of right now. Let me know how that decree worked out for everybody. Question: if you have two weapons training on either side and no attack monster, will it buff twice? I actually don't know the answer to that. I think it's yes, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's supposed to.
Yeah, it's supposed to. There you go. It can stack. And I think that's at the end. I made it all the way down to the end of chat. There's Royal Eagle. And we only have 8 minutes left. So I think we're gonna call it a day here. It seems like a little contentious. Is the price too high for that card? We're gonna see how this thing goes. The price is what the price is. If it doesn't sell out, then you, sir or madam, or whoever you are, just were able to go get yourself an extremely limited edition card. If it does sell out, it means that we priced it appropriately. So either way, I think that the players are going to get something awesome here. I would also note that there's value in being able to go pick up a brand new card that is a legendary and not having to sort through all the commons and rares and epics that you may or may not want, but that you actually get the exact card at that legendary level. And then keep in mind that there's a 4% chance on every single card that thing is actually going to turn out to be a gold foil. And I imagine that the gold foils are going to be valuable as well. So markets are going to do what markets are going to do. We picked a price point and we'll see what comes out of it. There's only 30 days to go pick it up once the thing goes live, which is a week from Tuesday. And, if you don't pick it up, that's okay. No one's forcing you to buy it. If you do pick it up and everybody buys it, then you made a great decision. And if you do pick it up and nobody else buys it, then you are going to have one of the scarcest cards in the game. So congratulations. I think it'll be pretty fun. And at the very least, it's going to be a kick-ass card for both the life and death splinters, playable in lots of different battles and arrangements. And I think you guys are gonna have fun. So that's what I got for today. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking out our game. Send in people, get your friends, call everybody. It's I think the macro tides are turning for the game and the ecosystem. And I don't know. The best days are still on their way. So so come hang out with us, come play this game, and come be entertained. Thanks,
Can we get a uwu?
We're not going to get a new woo for me, Ron. No uwus are possible. But I could give you a woo.
Woo!
That's the best you're going to get. Thanks, everybody.
When chaos reigns and hope is lost, when your darkest days aren't saved by the dawn, we bring the light to help guide the way. We are with you. We are the Rift Watchers. When your enemies have spread far and wide, when you're out of places to run and hide, follow the runes, help is on the way, we stand with you.